the people that are challenging these gatherings, and quite frankly, I had hoped it would bring out more people than it did, but it sent a little bit of a message. The message was that these are homogeneous groups. I mean, these were people from all across the socioeconomic and political spectrum saying enough is enough with the federal government. Were the numbers overwhelming? No, they weren't. Were they peaceful? Absolutely. Was I at all of them? No. I monitored many of them through our facilities here at Fox. I heard nothing even remotely racist. Look, if the pro-Obama forces think that they can tarnish with the word racism anybody who disagrees with them, they are in for a very, very serious battle, and their Orwellian redefinition of words simply won't work. I disagree with this president on almost everything he does. I am an anti-racist. My new book, Dred Scott's Revenge, A Legal History of Race and Freedom in America, was written to remind white people what blacks went through in this country. That doesn't mean I agree with everything the president has done. In fact, I disagree with almost all of it. I would defy anybody who disagrees with him on ideological or political grounds to say that that disagreement is racially based.
Well, I mean, it's just a complete distraction, isn't it, Judge, from reality? People there saying, we don't want more taxes, we don't want more regulation, and they run the president, the American people elect him, and then they say, if you criticize anything he's doing, youth brigades, tattletale squads, government money being spent on USA service to create a private army for the Democrats, they just say, every single one of you is a racist. I mean, that is just outrageous propaganda.
Well, it's outrageous because it reveals the moral depravity of their argument. They're unwilling to engage people who challenge the federal government in a meaningful debate about the appropriate role of the federal government in our constitutional society. And in order to avoid that challenge, they touch the third rail of American politics, which is racism. But this will not last. The American people will realize that the folks who are in favor of big government cannot avoid the debate by claiming that everyone that wants to challenge big government is a racist because the head of the government happens to be biracial. I happen to think it's a great thing that the head of the government is a biracial, to try and put race behind us, even though I disagree with this president on virtually everything he stands for.
But they want to continue to now inject race into it. It's race baiting. It's actually creating racial division.
Isn't that funny? Because the Department of Homeland Security report, which came out last week, condemned race baiting, even though the administration that produced it is now using it in order to avoid confronting the issues.
Do you think that was a political H-bomb, or I mean, how big a deal is this that we always explain to people this police state apparatus for Al-Qaeda was really being set up for the American people, and now all these federal and state MIAC reports and intelligence reports are out saying gun owners, people buying ammo, veterans are the #1 threat. I think that this is really a wake-up call.
I think that the DHS report was a bucket of cold water in the face of many conservative Republicans who are pro-life, who are pro-gun, who do welcome returning veterans, who are concerned about the borders, and who are concerned about the size and scope of the federal government. Why do I tick off those 5 attributes? Because the report says people who embrace any of those 5 causes on that side, on the gun side, on the life side, on the anti-federal government side, are as dangerous as race-based skinheads. And I say to my conservative Republican friends, or they say to me, well, how can the government monitor me? How does the government know that I'm pro-life, that I'm pro-gun, that I question the size and scope of the federal government? I say, well, remember, the government can listen to your phone calls and can monitor the keystrokes on your computer without a warrant these days. DHS agents, just like FBI agents, can write their own search warrants. They don't have to go to a judge. They don't have to present probable cause of crime anymore. And then my conservative Republican friends say, well, where did that come from? And then I say, the Patriot Act, which George Bush and the conservative Republicans in the Congress gave to us. The people that wrote this abominable law trusted Bush and his agents with this power. It's now in the hands of President Obama and his agents, and suddenly they regret and resent having given that kind of power to the federal government.
And that's my final question, and I want to talk about all the books you've written here briefly, Judge Napolitano. You say you're talking to a lot of high-powered Republicans. I know you talk to them on TV every day. They're starting to figure out now what they let the government, the powers that they let the government get.
They handed to President Obama an imperial presidency with powers far greater than what Bill Clinton handed to George W. Bush. The Republicans created that imperial presidency. It is as disrespectful. It is as faithless to the Constitution as anything FDR did, and it may be as faithless to the Constitution as Abraham Lincoln in terms of its violation of natural rights and its violation of specifically enunciated rights in the Constitution itself.
What do you think about the left? A lot of them defending Obama now on hiring nothing but lobbyists, expanding wars, saying they're going to expand warrantless spying, saying he's going to keep all these new powers. I mean, I know we're used to politicians lying, but he said this is going to be different this time. The good old folks at New Silver Solution. And the website is supernaturalsilver.com. Supernaturalsilver.com. This is something that kills bacteria, viruses, you name it, well documented. They've got it down to a super small nano-sized particle. Supernaturalsilver.com. Check them out at Infowars.com. Supernaturalsilver.com.